Have you ever noticed how your appetite changes with time? Maybe meals you used to crave don't appeal the same way anymore, or your energy levels just don't bounce back like they once did. That feeling, when you start wondering if your body's trying to tell you something, is more common than you might think. And the truth is, it probably is trying to tell you something. As we grow older, our bodies start to operate differently. They become more efficient in some ways, but also more demanding in others. That's why eating well after 60 isn't about dieting or counting every calorie. It's about listening to what your body truly needs to stay strong, vibrant, and full of life. Now, if you're someone who's always eaten relatively well, you might be wondering, do I really need to change anything now? And that's a fair question. But even the healthiest eaters need to make a few shifts as the years go by. The foods that nourished you in your 40s and 50s might not provide the same benefits today. Our bodies absorb nutrients differently, our metabolism slows down, and the kind of fuel we need starts to shift. It's not about restriction, it's about optimization. And that can actually be exciting. What we're diving into today is how to eat in a way that helps you feel energized, supports your immune system, protects your bones and muscles, and keeps your mind sharp. These aren't dramatic overhauls or unrealistic plans. They're simple, thoughtful adjustments that help your body thrive. Think of it like upgrading the oil in a vintage car. You've taken great care of your engine all these years, but now it just needs a little more attention to keep it running smoothly. Let's start by thinking about how we plate our meals. For many years, we've been taught to focus on protein, grains, and maybe a vegetable or two. But one of the first and most powerful changes we can make is to center our meals around foods that actually nourish us deeply, not just fill us up. Colorful vegetables, for instance, are a quiet powerhouse. They don't just add a splash of color to the plate, they're loaded with antioxidants and natural compounds that fight inflammation and protect your cells. And inflammation, as subtle as it might feel, is a major player in everything from joint pain to heart issues. What surprises many people is that the benefits of these foods go far beyond just vitamins. A serving of steamed broccoli, roasted carrots, or sautéed spinach isn't just good for your body. It's good for your brain, your eyes, your skin, and even your mood. You don't need to become a gourmet chef to enjoy these benefits either. Simple meals, made with care, can be more than enough. Now, while vegetables are important, there's another piece to the puzzle that's often overlooked: hydration. Not in the sense of just drinking more water, but in how we eat our hydration. Foods that are rich in water, like cucumbers, oranges, zucchini, and watermelon, offer hydration in a more lasting way. When we're younger, our thirst signal is pretty strong. But as we age, that signal weakens, even when our bodies need water just as much or more. Including moisture-rich foods in your daily meals can quietly and effectively support digestion, circulation, and even joint flexibility. And here's a thought to keep in mind. You don't need to chase trendy superfoods or exotic ingredients. Some of the best foods for longevity have been around forever. Take lentils or beans, for example. They're humble, affordable, and packed with fiber, which becomes more and more essential after 60. Fiber isn't just about keeping things regular. It helps maintain a balanced gut, and a healthy gut has a ripple effect across your entire system, from immune health to mood stability. Let's also talk for a moment about the kind of energy we need now. When we were younger, a sugary snack or a quick sandwich might have been enough to keep us going. But that quick burst of energy often comes with a crash. The body needs steadier sources of fuel now, things that burn slow and steady. Think of it like a fireplace. You want logs that burn through the night, not just kindling that flares up and disappears. Slow-burning carbohydrates like oats, barley, and sweet potatoes can give you that gentle, lasting energy without the spikes and crashes. Another gentle but important shift comes with how we think about portion sizes. Over time, our metabolism slows, and we don't need as many calories as we once did. But what we do need is more nutrient density. That means making every bite count. A smaller meal that's rich in vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats is often more valuable than a big plate of empty calories. This isn't about eating less, it's about eating smarter. You might be surprised how quickly your body responds to these changes. For some, digestion becomes easier, sleep improves, or that mid-afternoon slump fades away. For others, it's a clearer mind or steadier moods. The body is always listening to what we feed it, and it has a remarkable way of rewarding us when we give it what it needs. This journey isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Some days you might crave comfort foods, and that's completely okay. Other days, you'll naturally reach for what makes you feel good. Over time, those small daily choices begin to shape the way we age. They influence how we feel in the morning, how we move through our day, and even how well we bounce back from life's little setbacks. Now that we've laid the foundation for what it means to eat with purpose after 60, let's continue building on that momentum. Part 2. One thing we often overlook as the years go by is how much our body begins to change in its relationship with food. It's not just about what we eat anymore, it's about how our bodies use it. You might notice that meals you used to breeze through in your younger days now leave you feeling heavy or unsettled. That's not your imagination. Your digestive system slows down with age, and that shift means we need to be gentler and more intentional with the kinds of meals we prepare. Let's talk about those slow afternoons when your energy seems to hit a wall. That slump can sneak up on you even if you've had a good night's rest. Often, it's not sleep that's the problem, it's the fuel. Many seniors unknowingly go too long between meals or choose foods that leave their blood sugar on a roller coaster. That sudden crash of energy in the afternoon might actually be a sign your meals earlier in the day didn't quite deliver what your body needed. And the fix doesn't require anything drastic. Sometimes it's just a matter of adding the right kind of snacks at the right time. You may not always feel thirsty the way you used to either. It's a strange thing, not feeling thirsty, but still being dehydrated. Our thirst signals become less reliable as we age. That's why you might go hours without a sip of water and not realize how dry your body actually is. This can make you feel tired, foggy-headed, or even irritable. And sometimes it's not about drinking big glasses of water all at once. Small, consistent sips throughout the day are often far more helpful and easier on your system. Some people even find it useful to pair their water with something flavorful like a few slices of cucumber or lemon, not just for taste, but because it makes hydration feel more like a pleasant ritual than a chore. Now, let's touch on something that often gets brushed aside, your gut. You know that phrase, go with your gut? There's a lot more wisdom in that than we give it credit for. As we age, the balance of good bacteria in the gut can shift, and this affects everything from digestion to mood. Some people find that foods they once loved no longer sit right. Others develop bloating or feel fuller faster than they used to. It's not something to fear, but something to adjust to. Fermented foods like sauerkraut or yogurt can gently support a healthier gut environment. Even warm herbal teas with ginger or mint can soothe the digestive system and offer a comforting, calming experience. There's also something powerful about slowing down during meals. We often rush through eating, even in retirement. It's funny how habits from our working years stick with us. Eating quickly between tasks, watching TV while we chew, or standing up at the kitchen counter instead of sitting down. But when you make time to actually sit, breathe, and taste your food, you give your body the chance to digest properly. Meals become more than just nourishment. They become moments of peace in your day. That slower pace allows your brain to catch up to your stomach, helping you feel more satisfied with less food, which can prevent overeating without feeling deprived. Many older adults also notice their sense of taste changes subtly. Things might taste more bland or not quite how they remember. That's normal, but it doesn't mean food has to become boring. Playing with natural herbs and spices can bring dishes back to life. A sprinkle of cinnamon, a dash of turmeric, or a bit of fresh rosemary can make all the difference. These little tweaks can also bring added health benefits. Many herbs are rich in antioxidants, which support the body's natural defenses in a gentle, effective way. And here's something we often overlook, the joy of preparing food. Cooking might feel like a chore at times, especially if you're just cooking for yourself. But it can actually become a form of self-care, even if it's just making a simple soup or chopping up fresh ingredients while music plays in the background. There's something grounding about creating something nourishing with your own hands. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Even a bowl of fresh fruit arranged with care can feel like a gift to yourself. It's those small, everyday moments that build a sense of well-being over time. For some, grocery shopping can become a little overwhelming. Long aisles, confusing labels, and shelves packed with options that all claim to be the best for your health. If you've ever found yourself staring at a row of cereal boxes wondering which one to pick, you're not alone. One gentle approach is to focus on familiarity. Stick with foods you know and trust, and gradually add in a new item here and there. If something doesn't sit right with you, don't force it. Your body will usually tell you what it does or doesn't like. Just take a little time to listen. You might also consider how your eating habits fit into your daily rhythm. Maybe mornings are when you have the most energy, so that's when heartier breakfast makes sense. Or maybe you prefer lighter meals throughout the day with a more satisfying dinner. There's no one-size-fits-all pattern. What matters is learning to tune into how you feel after each meal. That inner awareness becomes one of your greatest tools, not just for eating better, but for living better. And while we're here, let's not forget the emotional side of food. Meals have always brought people together, and they still can. Whether it's inviting a neighbor over for lunch, cooking with a grandchild, or simply chatting with a friend on the phone while you enjoy your tea, those small moments of connection can add richness to your day. Eating for longevity isn't just about nutrients, it's about nurturing yourself in all ways, including emotionally. Now that we've taken a deeper look at how our changing bodies interact with food, let's keep moving forward. There are even more ways to nourish not only your physical health but your overall well-being through thoughtful choices at the table. Part 3. There's something quite powerful about recognizing that food is not just fuel. It's a message you send to your body every single day. That message can say, "I'm taking care of you," or it can quietly say, "I'm just getting by." And at this stage in life, that message matters more than ever. Choosing to nourish yourself with intention is one of the most loving things you can do for your future self. It's not about strict diets or giving up foods you enjoy. It's about creating a relationship with food that feels supportive, not stressful. One thing that often goes unnoticed is how our appetite shifts with age. You may not feel as hungry as you used to, and that's okay, but it becomes even more important to make every bite count. When the quantity of food goes down, the quality must go up. Think about the kind of meals that leave you feeling steady and satisfied, not stuffed or sluggish, but balanced. A meal that keeps you feeling clear-headed and calm afterward is often the one that's doing the most good behind the scenes. Now, while we're talking about nourishment, let's take a moment to consider how important it is to listen to your intuition. For years, we're told what to eat, how to eat, and when to eat. But your body has its own wisdom. Maybe you notice that certain foods leave you feeling foggy, or that you're more alert when you eat earlier in the day. That's not random. Your body is communicating, and learning to trust that communication can lead to a deeper sense of control and comfort with your health. You don't need to follow trends or jump on the latest health fads. You just need to tune in to how your body feels and respond with kindness. There's also the often overlooked impact of meal timing. As we age, our metabolic rhythm becomes more sensitive to when we eat. You may find that eating later in the evening affects your sleep more than it used to. That's your internal clock asking for a bit of rhythm and predictability. You don't need to follow a rigid schedule, but creating a gentle routine, eating around the same time each day, can offer your body a sense of stability. That consistency helps everything from digestion to hormone regulation without any complicated effort. And speaking of balance, let's talk about those moments when cravings creep in, especially late at night or during quiet afternoons. They don't always come from hunger. Sometimes they come from boredom or loneliness or just habit. And that's perfectly human. But it helps to notice what you're really craving. Is it comfort? Is it distraction? Is it simply the pleasure of taste? Once you know what's really calling, it becomes easier to respond in a way that truly satisfies. Sometimes a warm drink, a few stretches, or even a brief walk around the house can shift your energy. And when you do choose to eat something, let it be something that feels like care, not punishment or guilt. Another thing to consider is your kitchen itself. The environment where you prepare and enjoy your meals can have a surprising effect on your eating habits. A cluttered or dim space can make meals feel like a chore. But adding just a little intention, like opening a window, playing soft music, or setting your food on a proper plate instead of eating out of a container, can turn even the simplest snack into an experience. It doesn't take much. Just a little thoughtfulness can turn your kitchen into a place that welcomes nourishment and joy, not just function. There's also the question of independence. Many people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond begin to navigate meals on their own, especially if they've lost a partner or live alone. That shift can feel emotional. But eating solo doesn't have to be lonely. In fact, it can become an act of empowerment. Making something for yourself, even a humble dish, becomes a declaration that you matter, that your well-being is worth the time. And if you ever feel disconnected, a simple phone call during dinner, or even joining a community lunch now and then, can restore that sense of togetherness. Food has always had the power to connect, and that doesn't change with age. You might also think about how your meals reflect the seasons of life, not just the seasons outside your window. In the cooler months, your body might long for warmth, soups, stews, baked vegetables that nourish from the inside out. In the warmer months, lighter meals with crisp, fresh ingredients might feel more energizing. Paying attention to these seasonal shifts keeps you in harmony with nature and can subtly improve how your body responds to food. There's a quiet wisdom in eating this way, following what the earth offers and what your body gently asks for. Let's not forget the emotional nourishment that comes from simply allowing yourself to enjoy food. For too long, eating has been wrapped up in rules, restrictions, and shoulds. But joy is also a nutrient, and pleasure is part of health. Allowing yourself to enjoy a piece of dark chocolate, a flavorful dish, or even a small indulgence now and then is not a setback. It's part of living fully. When you give yourself permission to enjoy what you eat, digestion improves, mood lifts, and stress lowers. Food becomes a friend again. And finally, there's something deeply comforting about knowing that every meal is a new beginning. You don't have to get everything perfect. You don't have to change everything overnight. One small choice at a time, swapping a packaged snack for a fresh one, taking an extra moment to sit down and breathe before a meal, sipping a warm cup of tea instead of reaching for something processed, those choices build a foundation of vitality that will carry you forward. They remind your body and spirit that you're still growing, still thriving, still very much alive. Let's keep walking this path of nourishment with care, curiosity, and kindness. Because the truth is, you deserve to feel good in your body, not just now and then, but every single day. That's the power of food. Not just as a necessity, but as a daily act of love. When we think about growing older, we often focus on what's slipping away: strength, speed, stamina. But what if we shifted that focus toward what we're still building? Wisdom, patience, resilience, and a deeper connection to the little things we used to overlook. Nutrition can be part of that shift. It's not about holding on to youth. It's about stepping into this new chapter with grace and energy, fueled by what we choose to nourish ourselves with. Now, let's talk about one more piece of the puzzle that's often underestimated: how food interacts with medication. Many older adults are on prescriptions, and certain combinations of food and medicine can affect how well those medications work or how the body responds to them. It's not about alarm or fear, just awareness. A little bit of communication with your doctor or pharmacist can go a long way. Something as simple as adjusting when you take certain supplements or knowing which foods can interfere with absorption can make you feel steadier day to day. This is the kind of small detail that quietly supports a bigger picture of well-being. As we continue to age, digestion itself can become a bit more sensitive. You might notice changes in how your body handles certain meals, or you might experience more discomfort after eating foods that never used to bother you. That's not your body failing, it's simply evolving. Supporting your digestion with gentle movement after meals, sitting upright while eating, and staying hydrated can ease the process. Adding in a few naturally soothing herbs, like ginger or fennel, might offer a comforting touch without needing to reach for medication. There's also something to be said for simplicity in eating. After a lifetime of complicated recipes, rushed dinners, and multitasking through meals, there's a quiet joy in slowing down. A bowl of oatmeal with a handful of berries. A perfectly ripe avocado on toast. A roasted sweet potato with a touch of cinnamon. These aren't extravagant meals, but they carry warmth and nourishment that's often missing in fast processed foods. Eating simply doesn't mean eating less. It means choosing foods that don't demand a lot from your body, so that more of your energy can go toward living. Let's not forget the subtle power of variety. It's easy to fall into patterns, buying the same groceries, cooking the same few meals. And while routines can bring comfort, they can also cause the body to miss out on a wider range of nutrients. Every fruit, every vegetable, every grain or bean brings something slightly different to the table. Sometimes even switching the color of your produce makes a difference. A purple cabbage instead of green, a blood orange instead of a standard one. These little changes keep your meals visually interesting and nutritionally diverse, and they can even spark a bit of fun and creativity in the kitchen again. It's also worth thinking about how food connects you to your own story. Recipes passed down from parents or grandparents, the dishes you used to make for your children, or the ones you shared with friends during special moments. All those memories are tied to the food you eat. Bringing some of those recipes back, maybe with a few gentle updates to fit your current needs, can reconnect you to those chapters of your life. And in doing so, it nourishes more than your body. It feeds your sense of identity, and that can be just as important for health. Food also has a beautiful way of connecting us to our culture, our history, and even our travels. Maybe there's a dish that reminds you of a vacation you once took, or a special meal you shared with someone you loved. Recreating those moments through food can bring warmth and joy into everyday life. Even trying a new cuisine, something you've never tasted before, can offer a spark of adventure. You don't need a passport to explore. Sometimes all you need is a fork and a little curiosity. And while we're speaking of joy, it's important to acknowledge that eating isn't always easy for everyone. There are days when cooking feels like a burden, or when appetite is low, or when food just doesn't seem to taste the way it used to. In those moments, it's okay to ask for help. Whether it's a neighbor dropping off a meal, a local meal delivery program, or even a chat with your doctor about changes in taste or appetite, support is available. You don't have to navigate nutrition alone. Reaching out isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It means you're taking yourself seriously, and that kind of self-respect lays the foundation for lasting health. There's a quiet dignity in giving your body what it needs without shame or guilt. And the beautiful thing is, every day gives you another chance to do that. You don't need to be perfect or hit every target. You simply need to care. A small effort today might mean better sleep tonight. A better night's rest could lead to a clearer head tomorrow. One good choice leads to another until, almost without noticing, you start feeling better in ways you hadn't expected. So if there's one message to carry forward, it's this: you are still growing, still learning, still shaping the quality of your days through the choices you make. Eating for longevity isn't about restriction, it's about expansion. Expanding your energy, your clarity, your connection to yourself and the world around you. Food is not just a means of survival, it's a quiet, daily opportunity to thrive. If this conversation spoke to you, I'd love to hear what habits or meals have made a difference in your life. Drop a comment and share your wisdom. It might just help someone else who's listening. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and like it and subscribe for more content that supports you in living fully, freely, and well. Because this stage of life isn't about slowing down. It's about showing up with presence, purpose, and pride. Here's to meals that nourish, moments that matter, and the journey ahead, because you're not just aging, you're aging better. And better with age is exactly what you were meant for.